Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of results, the it's difficult because PR is also one of those things where it's not like an advertisement that you can track a click through and directly attribute that PR article to a sale. It rarely, if ever, happens that way. Sometimes we do hear indirectly from like the sales organization from a client that like they saw an article and that's how they found out about them, but they don't often like put that into their like tracking side on the sales side of like how did you hear about us. They don't have like, you know, they might have news but they don't know that it's like coming from us, right? So it's really really hard. So the way that we look at and do our metrics for clients, um like I'll try to pull up something that has how we track so you can at least just see what it looks like. um so you can look. Everything to the left in the gray is before they started working with us. Everything to the right is after they started working with us, just for your reference point. So we look at overall coverage, right? We look at like how are they comparing to their competitors? How much coverage are they getting? There's something also known as like unique coverage, which basically looks at like pulling out like press release syndications, pulling out duplicate stories, like just boiling down, not looking at the whole thing, but just kind of like zeroing in a little bit more. So we call those uniques. And looking at those, we look at organic coverage, which would be like when somebody is writing about this company and they weren't prompted to do so. It wasn't like a press release. It wasn't the company putting some news out. It was like some other third party wrote about them and it wasn't a paid thing or a sponsored thing, right? So organic is another thing that we look at. And honestly, that's like mostly what we look at for clients. It's because it's really difficult to attribute things in PR. And so I wish I could say like, oh yeah, like I would love to tell them, oh yeah, my the sales leads are up. Um, Direct inquiries from investors are up. There, you can't attribute it. It's really hard. And if you figure out a way to do it, let me know because you'd make a lot of money selling to PR agencies. But in general, looking at the number of articles, the quality of the articles, the tone of the articles, are the messages being pulled through in the articles, the number of times they're being mentioned, are their competitors put in front of them in articles and stuff like that, or are they like ranked as the first choice, things like that. Uh, we also can sometimes look at number of backlinks that a client gets in a quarter, the number of social media conversations, shares, things like that. I'll just keep going. I think we can do expectations and measuring success all in this video. Expectations. Have you ever exceeded a client's expectation? How did this manifest? Yeah, of course, we do this all the time. I mean, we exceed clients' expectations from how we work. We are like way, way faster. Like when someone starts working with us, it's like instantaneous. We connect our Slack, we start building a Google Drive, we have everything populated within a week. We're automatically moving on into, actual execution. And, by the third week, hopefully have some good news, like we have a win here or a win there or opportunity or something being formed. Whereas their old PR agency might literally take a month doing absolutely nothing but having meetings, saying they're learning it and getting up to speed before they even lay the groundwork. And then when they do, it's like this big bloated bureaucratic way of thinking about stuff. We're lean, we're fast, we're hungry, and we're always wanting to get wins for clients. And we're always looking to be proactive and not sit back and wait to be told what to do. And because that's the way that we approach business and work for our clients, we constantly exceed expectations because they never have had an agency work like that before for them. And then if you put in work like that, you're going to see results way more than if you're just running a standard agency playbook, going slow, not following up enough, not being creative enough, not being broad enough in the way you pitch. So, yeah, like the results come as a result of the work you put in, right? That's how life works. And we put in more hard work and more thought and more creativity than any of our competitors. And so we're always going to exceed expectations as a result of that. And the last thing, measuring success. How do you measure success for yourself or for the client? Do you have any KPIs? I mean, I just mentioned this in the results. Uh, I mean, I get what you were saying. The results thing is maybe less about like what I was tracking and maybe more about what's considered most valuable for the client. So if I were to look back at that question and maybe answer it a little bit differently, maybe it's what results are considered most valuable for the client. I would say probably sales, like all the other stuff is just subservient to sales. If you're not growing revenue, you're dying. And I think like that is every business in a nutshell. Just boil it down. So all this other crap, number of articles, tone of publications, growth and mentions, direct inquiries from investors, totally not as important as growth of sales. So yeah, I think that's what you were asking earlier. So sorry if I misled you or anything, but in terms of measuring success, I basically already answered that question because I thought that's what you were asking in the results thing. So yeah, you already have it. I'll just keep going here. It's not that long of a video. Competitors. Who are your competitors? Is there anyone besides PR Lab? Yeah, there's a ton. I mean, I went through and I gave you a competitors list, but honestly, if you were to, and you already have all the strengths and weaknesses, I mean, like, you have basically how I think about their website. All right, if I did strengths and weaknesses on some of them, look, here's how I would think about this. We have 10 sectors, right? If you were to do something like this, I don't want to bias it, I'll go incognito. If you were to type in fintech PR agency, okay, and you look at, oh God, I got to do this. No, is this still in the motorcycle? I don't know. Okay, so, oh, it's giving me, I'm in Mexico right now, so it's giving me like, it's giving me Spanish results. I wonder if I could. All right, cool. So just look at who comes up. Good old PR Lab is coming up number one. I think Ninja Promo. Who's number one? Number one. This guy. Just some listicle. So probably not a real agency. Another listicle. And then PR Lab. These guys own every fucking keyword and it drives me absolutely insane. I could type this in for almost anything. These guys always come up number one and it pisses me off. They're really, really, really good. And that's why their whole conversion optimized site and all this shit, they've got their keywords figured out. They own it and they're capturing a ton of traffic. When I go and look at their traffic, they're 3 times, 4 times the size of me in terms of traffic. And that just means the leads they're getting as well. So yeah, they're crushing. But like if you were to be like, oh, who are the companies, just look at who comes up on the top page of Google. So I've never heard of this company, but clearly they are a competitor. Because if I think about who are my competitors are the top 3 companies that come up on the first page of Google, not these blogs who are just doing, I don't know what Ninja Promo is, but Yeah, they're not a PR agency. They're doing a whole bunch of other marketing stuff. Look at the PR agencies who show up for that keyword. This one, and this one. That's it. Those are my top three for that particular term. And then do that across every term I have, which is like, what do we have? 10 sectors, fintech, AI, crypto, cybersecurity. I mean, on some of these, I do quite well. Like if you did IoT PR agency, I should be pretty much these fucking guys just showing up number one. I mean, it drives me insane. Anyways, look, there I am, fourth down. But you could say here at one, two, and three. Okay, these are my top three that you would have to look at for each one in each of the sectors. That's how I would look at it. I would not say broadly that like, you can look at like B2B PR agencies, and that's not very helpful because you could look at this list where it's got what is it, a Dwyer, I don't know, Dwyer, I don't know, something like this. Yeah, there's like rankings, uh, but like, is this really helpful? Like any of these people, like you could be like, yeah, like you could find someone on here and be like, yeah, this is your competitor. They're not really my competitor. They're not. They're huge, massive agencies, but the only ones I care about are the people that are ranking for these terms right here. Put my keyword in front of PR agency, those 10, and then looking at, I mean, obviously what comes up on the first page of Google, PR Lab, there they are, Escalade PR, and there's me, but then one below it. So that's how I think about my competitors. Okay. And like I don't I don't have anybody that I think PR Lab obviously does the best job at ranking and their site's incredibly conversion optimized. I would like say less so for Berlin Rosen and Hoffman Agency because they don't really show up for the keywords that I want. If you go and you start doing that search and you see one name that comes up over and over, it's this one. But every sector has like a different top three. And so that's how you have to figure it out. And then I would say like strengths and weaknesses, you know, like I don't know, man. Like, I think the thing is, you could go back to the model. Like, strengths and weaknesses are strengths. Well, the strengths are they have a bigger team. And I think their strengths are when they have pictures of people on their site and they have 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 people sitting around a table, it looks more substantial than my company that has like, a couple of people, 3 or 4 people. Like it just doesn't seem like how are these people going to be able to serve me as well as a company that has, 20, 30 people on their site. So we maybe need to do a better job of like putting our freelancers up on the site almost like they're employees, but they're not. But at least it looks like, oh, when we go to the about page, there's a lot more people and it feels a lot more substantial because I think from a strength standpoint, our competitors do that and we can't really match that right now in the way our current site is set up. I think the weakness is that it's just a PR agency. And I've talked about at length why the traditional PR agencies are not up to the task. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go look at the new client presentation that I put into Slack. It goes into all the problems they have. So yeah, that's it for results, expectations, measuring success, and competitors.